Good evening, everyone. My name's Hank Settle. I'm the Sonic Shaman, and I have here with me my dear friend Joy. And today's topic, or our inspiration for today, is all about moving miracles because there's magic in every moment of every day. And we're going to do kind of a series of these, but today it's all about these amazing moments where one door closes and you need another door to open and things just line up. And Joy just has these amazing little stories to share, and we'll kind of talk about it a little bit through. But where do you want us to begin on your little story adventure of moving miracles?
Well, you and I started talking about this because I'm moving out of the dear little place that I'm in on the 25th, and I have absolutely no idea where I'm going, and that's just fine because where and how is not my business, and that's been made abundantly clear. I've been living in service to divine will for the past couple of decades, and traveling wherever I'm sent and working with whomever I'm supposed to work with. So I never know where I'm going to be in every moment. It's made for a very interesting life. And I was sharing the story of how I found this dear little nest that I'm in at the moment. So I guess we could start there if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you just joining us and everything, if you've ever seen on Stir Crazy Shamans, Casey and I would oftentimes do these like magical moments. And this is a very similar type of thing, but we're going to keep it more focused on just moving because Joy has so many experiences. So why don't I know you have them kind of organized as to like going up to the more grand. So why don't we just start to with the one of the more, oh, they're all going to be super inspiring. Just start with one.
Well, I want to be able to, I'm sharing these because I have a formula that I want to give you today in this call so that you can manifest similar miracles, whether or not you're moving. So first of all, I'll tell you a couple of stories about how I got this one, which was back in July when my, actually, I'll start one before that. It was the day of the shutdown when everybody was going into not incubation, yeah, whatever whatever we're in right now, isolation, not able to move. And I knew that I was absolutely not staying where I was, and so I just handed in my notice the week before and said I'm out. And I had no idea about where I would be going, and my apprentice was helping me pack up, and my mate Dennis said, come and stay on the boat. If you've got nowhere to stay, you're welcome to stay on the boat. So I moved my first lot of suitcases to the boat, and I looked and I went, no, this is unacceptable. I am not going to be staying here for the period of this isolation. I need a backyard that's got like feet on the ground, and I need a bath. I've got to have a really big bath and a private space to just be. I can't be on a boat for this entire time. You're going to have to organize something else. You're going to have to do it now because I'm moving now. And we went back to the place where I was leaving, and I hopped on Facebook, and there was my friend Julia Grace, who, imagine being her right now. She was in Hawaii, and she'd just come out of a 10-day Vipassana retreat, 10-day silent retreat. So when she went in, it was all lovely, and when she came out, she's like, the whole world shut down. What's happening? And I caught her at that moment and said, oh, so you're stuck in Hawaii. And to cut a long story short, I moved into her dear little apartment, which had a fabulous, completely private backyard where I could be naked and not frighten anybody, and had an enormous, most perfect bath and everything that I had asked for, all in return for me guiding her because she was in Hawaii because different shamanic guardians and things wanted her attention, and it was just gorgeous. I was able to see as I spoke with her, all of these guardians started appearing and saying, send her here and here. And so I was able to say, okay, so within just like 10 or 15 minutes walk of where you are right now, there's this enormous guardian rock, and it's sort of shaped like a wave, and it's overlooking the beach, and it's big enough for you to be able to stand inside of. And I described the guardian and everything about it. And so she went for a walk, and she found the rock exactly as I described. She was able to sit in it, met the guardian, all of those things. So I spent the next 4 or 5 months, or however long it was, just taking her on shamanic joy quests into different parts of Hawaii, where she received these incredible gifts. It was just the best fun and a wonderful trade. And then she had to come back, of course. And so I said to upstairs management, look, I don't know, just send me who it is, who knows where I'm supposed to live, because I'm too tired to look. I just can't be bothered. So I got out of the car and there's only one person on the street. I thought, well, that's easy. And I went up to her and offered her a blessing and a joy generator, which are these special cards that I have made and infused with joy, and I give them out, so little joy ripples. And she said, thank you very much. Where do you live? I said, well, actually, I don't know. And she said, well, actually, I think I might know. And showed me the ad that she'd just seen on Nextdoor for a little casita in Pacific Palisades. And I thought, yes, this feels right. Rang up Lisa, and Lisa said, well, I'm showing the casita to somebody else at 12. If he doesn't take it, you can come over. I said, look, please don't rent to anybody until you've met me, because I'm supposed to be living there. And she said, all right. So I arrived and met her and her lovely hubby and told them the story I just told you. And they laughed and looked at each other and said, that's how it works for me as well. And that's where I've been living for the last, since July. And I have loved it. And now it's being demolished because they're extending their house. So I'm super excited to see where upstairs management sends me. And currently I have no idea where that is. But I never do know. It's because, again, as I said, how, where, not my business. I've learned that my job is to submit the invoice to upstairs management for what it is that I want. In this case, a beautiful little casita with trees, a bath. And so I've got to have trees. Those trees are everything. Twice as big as, because this is pretty small. But it's every single thing that I asked for. I had to be 15 minutes walk to a forest. I'm 15 minutes walk from Japan. Goodness gracious, from my favorite hiking place. So the invitation to you is to get really clear on what it is that you want, and then completely release the need to control how what it is that you have asked for is delivered. Our job as the incarnate members of the team is to once that invoice has been submitted, to prepare and to behave as if what you have asked for is already on its way, because it will be, and it's not going to look the way you think that it will. Usually it's way better, because if you're smart, you've left the details to God. Now, it took me... Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, we've talked about this on our 12 hours, on the 12-hour stream of World of Possibility, where the difference between manifestation and actualization, when people get caught up with the how it's supposed to happen, it's like handcuffing the universe. Hey, you want more money, but the only way you're willing to receive it is of raising your paycheck. Where with what you're doing, you just say, here's the end goal, and how we get there doesn't matter so much, and just trust that it's going to happen.
Exactly. If you get too specific, then upstairs management just goes, oh, really, crikey, we had a way better idea in mind, but I suppose we'll somehow try and take these bits off and put it into this weird little thing that she's asked for. And no, don't do that. Don't do that. No handcuffing, as Hank said. So yeah, that's give the basic outline. And here, I'm going to tell you 3 magic words, the most important words that you will add to any prayer. So write them down, because they cover your ass first up. Make sure that you don't get things that you shouldn't ought to get. Now, I know you know what I'm talking about here. And secondly, gives God leeway. Should I go into covering your ass a bit more? Is there a more polite, covering your bum, more polite way of saying that? Sorry if I offended anybody with my ass. But it is, I will go into a bit further. It is possible, absolutely possible, to get things that you didn't want. I had a mate, her best friend had the most beautiful house. And every time Julie went to see this house, she would say to her mate, oh, you living in my house. This is my house. I love this house. One day I'm going to have this house. And they'd have a bit of a laugh. Her mate died. She got the house. Was not the way she wanted to get it. So, no. These are the 3 words that you use. This or better.
I was ready for you. I had it.
Yeah, of course you did, mate. Of course you did. Because that gives God Okay, so now we have the base foundation. Now we understand what the invoice is all about. Let's throw in some goodies because they can now. So submit your invoice, add this or better, and then release the need to control how what you've asked for comes. I used to be horrible at this, to tell you the truth. I used to say, all right, here's the invoice, God, and then I'd be like, how you doing with that, by the way? I mean, do you understand? Like it's, and then I would snatch it back because I didn't think God was organized enough. I thought I was a control freak at that point.
Yep. But you gave the example on the live stream that we did for the 12-hour stream that it's kind of like when you go into a restaurant and you put your order in. If it doesn't come out right away, it's not like you're getting up and leaving. You got to wait for your food. So like you put the invoice into management, and then you got to give it a little bit of time. But it's you have to have faith and trust in the system, and that's what we were talking about offline. I had asked you, well, what about people who they submit the invoice to upstairs, but they don't believe that it's going to happen? How do they start to build the faith? And you had a really good way to have people start to develop that faith and the knowing that things are going to show up.
I do. People are always in awe of my faith. I don't need faith, darling. I have evidence. And if you pay attention to your life, you will notice that you have evidence too. I want your joy scription to empower your faith to grow to the point where it's evidence is to get a special book. It has to be a book. It doesn't have to be expensive, but make it one that's special so that when you write in it, you're feeling like, yeah, this is my special book. This is your miracles and manifestations journal. And in it, you write all of the times that you can think of. Have a wee think right now. How many times has the perfect person, circumstance, situation, money, whatever, been provided for you at the precise moment of your need? Not a moment before, never a moment too late, and again, never in the way that you think it will look, because, well, you know how you like surprises. When you begin to write these things down, you're going to get to a point where you just look like a complete idiot saying, oh, what a lovely coincidence. You will soon realize. So just for a moment, think right now, take a deep breath, close your eyes if you want to, and have a look and, okay, has that ever happened to me? Have I, in fact, been provided for, including all of the challenges that you needed to be who and what you are now? The universe provides us not just with all of the things that we need, the apparently good, the apparently bad. How many times have you been saved in the nick of time? Write them down. All the times when look, it always happens at the precise moment so that you can't take credit for it. It happens at the precise moment so that you know it's not you, it's them. We are the incarnate members of the team, not the only members. Do you understand? Allow yourself to feel that just for a minute. Well, this woman sounds crazy, but just maybe I do have angels and guardians that walk with me. Maybe I do. And the more you write out and the more you let yourself look at, darling, this book will become your most powerful tool against fear and doubt. So the next time, you've written all of this down, and this is how you use it as a powerful tool. The next time that there's an aspect of you going, we can't do this, it's never going to happen, we're all going to die. Stop. And have you got that voice in your head right now, just a negative voice that says, we can't, or it doesn't work like that, or it might work like that. How old is that voice? Chances are they might be quite young. Because most of our beliefs are formed in our first frame references before age 7, before we've got really any kind of chance to make any other decisions for ourselves, just for a moment, listen to that voice, that voice that sometimes comes up and goes, eh, and go and how old is that voice? And then just maybe imagine that aspect of you in front of you and bring them to you and hold them. And instead of thinking that voice is an enemy, realize, wait, what if this voice is a traumatized aspect of me pleading for reassurance, begging to be told what's really true? Hold that part of you and pick up the book in which you have written all of the things that you could not possibly have organized, and say to that aspect, let's find out together, you and I, whether or not we really do need to be having a little panic, or whether it just might all work out because. And then you read aloud, so you're engaging kinesthetic, audio, visual, your own handwriting in black and white on the paper, speaking it, hearing it, engaging all the senses. You read miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle until that aspect of you is bored. And that is how you begin to silence the negative voices in your head, not by trying to lock them away, shut them down, shut them up. I know you've tried and it hasn't worked, has it? So try listening to them. Try comforting them. Try telling them what is true. See how that works for you.
Kind of to go along with your this or better, one of the tools we have in Access is once something shows up from the universe, you actually say this. How does it get any better than this? And it creates this possibility of this upward spiral that when things show up, you're immediately putting in a place of gratitude and immediately telling the universe, thank you. How does it get any better than this? And then it shows you again and shows you again. And it starts to create this upward spiral. And then when you do run into something where your ego, which is edging God out, because I'm an acronym nerd, when your ego is trying to cause you to choose something that isn't the greatest possibility, we also have this wonderful question: what else is possible? And that's a great place where you take out that miracle journal and you remember all the times where you thought something was impossible, the impossible became possible, and to start to shift into that space of possibility. I love that. I'm going to have to, I don't have that. I can't believe I've gone all this time without having a miracle journal.
Well, now, what fun. Now you get to.
Yeah.
And yeah, and there's ways, well, perhaps in a different segment, I'll explain how to use that so you learn how to consciously create the miracles rather than just going, oh, good on you, God, I wouldn't have thought of that. Because that's the goal, to consciously create. Can I give you a wee example of another moving thing? Because I'm in the moving mode right now of how. Because I just like these stories. Do you want another story?
No, but definitely another story. And I just want to also mention, just from some of the comments too, that I understand that not necessarily everybody is in the space where there's like little self-doubts and things. People are all at different levels, but there's a lot of people, like my friend Param, he has an entire workshop entitled Why Life Sucks. And it's geared towards people that are in a more stuck place, but it's all the works of Osho. So if things aren't necessarily resonating because you don't have negative things going on, I just invite people to consider that everybody's at a different spot, and
yes.
and look at the words that Joy's sharing with us in the stories. Well, how do you take where you are at and use these things as a springboard to possibility to take your success even further? So
there's always more levels. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And shamanism, we say, like, we have all the different levels, and it's like you're going up in a building, and there's no hierarchy to levels being better than another or anything like that. But like, if you go from level 1 to level 2, the unique thing is the floor, once you pass through that level, you can look down and you see the beauty, the total beauty of level 1 for all it is, but you can't see up to level 3. And once you go to level 3, you can see down and see a whole nother layer of beauty, but they don't look at it as a superiority thing. It's just a different point of view, and then you can go between the levels very smoothly. So I just offer that to everybody to have a little bit of a understand everybody's at a different spot. Cool.
Exactly.
What is the next moving story?
Yes, well, no, thank you so much for that, Hank. And if you've got no issues at home, Good on you. That's fabulous. It's this works for instant manifestation. So if you're interested in instant manifestation, this is the call for you. If you've got instant manifestation covered, then well, maybe you'll just enjoy the stories.
Yep,
So
absolutely. And also, I see some people commenting on my personal Facebook feed, and I don't see them coming up in studio. So if you are making comments and I'm not responding or anything, you may want to head over to either the YouTube channel or the Sonic Shaman Facebook page. Either of those places, I know I'm going to see it. Some of the other places, the way we're streaming, it just doesn't roll to studio. So I'm not trying to ignore anybody. But if you could head over to one of the two places where I know I see comments, we're happy to interact. But absolutely, enjoy the stories and along for the ride, and know that all these things are applicable to different areas of your life too. It doesn't have to be moving. I'll share a story about an employment one in a moment too. So these things have parallels throughout all the departments of your life, if you will, from moving to finance to employment and all that.
it's true. In that case, I'll share the. Can I share the story? Would it be of interest to you? Throw up a thumbs up or a like if you'd like to hear the precise moment where money ceased to be an issue for me completely, and I was able to totally release that.
Well, I want to give a thumbs up for that one, but we'll see if anybody else gives a thumbs up or a like for it.
Okay. I am
Well,
unattached. I have a million stories. So yeah, it's and also I'm happy to go back and comment. We haven't, because technology is not my strong point. We're not putting it on my Joy White Peacock page, but I'll be sharing it there. And I want to make sure that I don't miss any of your comments. So please, if you've got questions or anything like that, I'm happy to answer them. And my website is experiencejoy.com, or just find me on Facebook or YouTube.
I'll throw that into the I'll put it in the chat too. But absolutely, we do have some other. We got a 1 heart and 2 thumbs up. So I think that means they want to hear the story.
Okay. So I had gone from being a leader in the information technology and telecommunications industry in Australia, where I had been the first individual ever to be nominated for an IT&T Excellence Award for industry development. And I was enormously proud of everything I'd achieved. This was the old boys network, and I had turned it on its ear, and I was having a ball. I was just kicking ass and taking names all over the place. And then upstairs management popped in at the peak of my career and said, okay, it's time for you to let all of that go now and go and be a show. And I go, no, I don't think so. That's ridiculous. I'm not interested in any of that. And so every single thing that was taken or that was in the way of me changing paths was removed. My husband found another woman. My businesses were just scattered to the winds. Everything was gone. So within a year, I went from top of the ladder to single mother on welfare with nothing. And except here is the path laid out before you. Goody. So I received a $745 phone bill. And at that time, I didn't even have $75 in my bank account. And so remember previously I told you I would always like snatch it back to find, because you're not doing it quick enough, God. This was the first time when I couldn't do that because there was absolutely no way I could pay it. So for truly, honestly, for the very first time, I let go and let God, well, here you go. If you want me to have a phone, then you've got to organize this bill because I cannot. And then I left it alone because there was nothing more I could do. And I then lost my bank card. I just joined the National Australia Bank. And so I went down to the National Australia Bank and I said, oh, okay, I've lost my card. Can you please, issue me a new one? And they said, certainly, which account? I said, I've only got the one. And they said, no, you've got two. And I said, no, I've only got the one. And they thought, is there any money in the other one? They said, yeah, $745. 10 years prior, my then husband and I had opened an account at the NAB, and they'd done the wrong thing, and we got all pissy. We pulled out our funds and left $100 in there. to keep the account open, just whatever. And over that 10 years, it had accumulated until it was exactly the right amount of money to pay my phone bill. Now, I knew this wasn't a coincidence, but I still was not convinced. This was not the moment. But now I'm like, oh, okay, I know how it works now. All right. And I had, so the next time a bill came in, it was $350. And I didn't have the money, and I thought, I know how it works now, no problem. So I'd already cleaned out the National Australia Bank. So I went to the ANZ and I said, I'm expecting $350 in my account. And they looked at my account and said, no, I'm sorry, it's not there. I said, no, you have to look again. I'm absolutely sure it's there. Go and have another look. It was in my daughter's account. Social services had back paid us enough money for me to pay that bill. And that right there, that was the moment that I learned it doesn't matter what it is that I need. On this path, I am provided for, and that includes the money for whatever bill comes in. So there's that story. Any questions or comments or anything about that before I move on?
Oh, they might be typing, but I don't see anything as of yet. And I did put in the comments the link to Joy's website, which is experiencejoy.com. And for those of you who didn't see her on the 12-hour stream, if you go back to that stream, it's on the Emergence of Being channel, not my personal channel. We went over these stories, and she did this really cool voice attunement type thing. So I encourage you to go back and check out that stream as well. And on her website, that's not what I wanted to say. There is a thing where you can, she has like a video that you can get for more joy, less stress in 3 minutes or less. So I just want to throw that out there for you too. There's another little takeaway that you can get from her website if you want to check that out. But yeah, I think you can go ahead with the next story because I don't see any questions.
Okay. Yes, I'd be glad to give you that gift. I became a world expert on clearing stress in 3 minutes or less after being hit by a drunk driver. You'll find that story on my website. But if you click on the link next to it and pop in your email, I will send you a 15-minute video that shows you how to relax instantly, keep a clear head no matter what craziness is going on, and clear stress from your body. And what I ask is, when you find out how well these tools work, share them. Everybody needs to know these simple, basic life-saving tools. They saved my life. Well, they're my foundation tools. Obviously, I have a lot more than that. But yeah, be glad to send you that. Thanks.
Yep. We have Mike just giving WEIP is an access acronym for what else is possible, and he's giving you lots of love. And we do have Kimberly just saying she couldn't comment on YouTube for some reason. So I'm not sure where you're commenting now, but Mercury is retrograde, and it doesn't affect me so much, but sometimes technology, weird things happen, because this whole day has been kind of odd with technology. And even like trying to start the stream today, we were running into all things, and then Joy just poofed out of existence and had to come back. So
that happens to me sometimes.
Yeah,
I've died 6 times in this life. I'm a poofer.
Yeah. So if you are trying to make a comment, Kimberly, let me know where. Well, Mike is commenting on YouTube, no problem. So I don't know. You can try to comment on either the Sonic Shaman Facebook page or the YouTube, wherever you try to make the comments, and we'll address comments as we can. But if not, no, we're not trying to ignore you. We'll catch them on the other side. But anyway, thank you for joining us, Kimberly. I'm glad you're.
Yeah, thank you for the love, Kimberly. I need some love today, so I really felt it, and I so appreciate you. And it makes a big difference. It feels like the praise, like I'm doing a praise challenge that Hank has helped so much with, where offering appreciation and gratitude. Praise is planting radical appreciation in someone's energy.
I thought I had the actual graphic, but I will put that up. But I'll post a link to the Facebook group. If you try to search for it, you can't just type in praise. You got to type in P period A, like the whole thing with the period in between, but you'll find the group. I'll post a link to it, but it's free. It's 11 days, and it's empowering everybody to start praising each other to create change and possibility in each other's lives. And actually, I shared with Joy off air, but I actually had one of the people that I know that had joined message me saying that she reached out to someone, she praised someone, and got such amazing feedback and appreciation back from doing it that it made a huge difference in her day. So definitely I recommend it. And I will put the link up here in just a moment. We do have 2 comments. So let me switch over real quick before.
Yeah, this is National Suicide Month, and there's more people killing themselves than ever before right now because it's just so hard being in isolation. It's you start to wonder, do I even still matter? And if you go to the praise, well, Hank made an event page, and there's a group. What we're doing is we're gathering community, and my mate Greta and I are every morning at 11 o'clock Pacific time. We're doing a wee video to show you how to uplift yourself and all of the people around you by offering this radical appreciation, planting radical appreciation in someone's energy, and it's saving people. You know, when you reach out and tell somebody with your whole heart what they mean to you, or what a difference they've made, or how it's just, it saves lives at the best, and at the least it gives somebody, it, I think it's giving everybody what's needed right now, which is acknowledgement. I see you. I'm grateful for you. Keep going. Keep going. We need you.
And authentic acknowledgement, because I worked in corporate for a long time, and they would have like this acknowledgement for people, but sometimes it felt very hollow. It's like they were just doing it because this is what we do. And but when it's like authentic, like true acknowledgement, it's like it feels a whole different thing. This is the little picture that you're going to see when you go in. Well, it won't have Joy's picture, but it just says "raised by lifting others," and that's what you'll see when you go to the group. I'll grab the link real quick. And we did have Kimberly was just saying, I love that you said that because it's always technology. I put the YouTube on my TV and jumped on your personal page on my phone. Much love to you as well. An amazing story. So she's definitely enjoying what you are offering here. And you just have to roll with it. You know, that's the big secret in life, right? When things don't happen the way that you think they're going to happen, you just roll with it. And the same thing
Yeah.
with manifestation and actualization. You say, you know, show it, let it show up with ease. And other than that, no condition to the universe, and things happen in the most amazing ways, which I'm sure you're about to share another one of those stories.
They do. They do. This story is set in Mexico. I had just climbed Popocatépetl, which is, I probably shouldn't tell you that because it's forbidden to climb Popo. He's a very active volcano just outside of Mexico City. But
Allegedly, this is a cool dream you're talking about.
hmm?
It's a cool dream you're talking about.
A cool dream? No, this happened.
No, I was trying to cover you since you said you weren't supposed to do it.
Oh
Dream,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
Right.
No, this. Yeah, thank you.
It's all right.
What are they going to do? They can't come after me now. I did have to cross a lot of barbed wire and no trespassing signs and electrified pit. Yeah, no. But that was that. Well, that's a whole other story about how Popo healed me. But this story, I came down, went into Mexico City and said, "Okay, God, where am I supposed to go next?" And I was placed with this fellow. I found myself in a fellow's house. He was off with his girlfriend, and I just had a week to recover from the climb. And and the view of Mexico City was amazing and completely and absolutely intimidating because it's huge. I mean, there's more people on one bus there than in my entire little country of New Zealand, and I was overwhelmed. And I reached the end of my stay there, and hey, just know it's time to move on. Well, I was at that time, and so I said to upstairs management, all right, I need, if you want me to stay in Mexico City, then I'm going to need the following things. I'm going to need a place that's like way smaller with less of a view because I need to be nurtured right now. I've had a really, really challenging, terrifying time, and I just need to be in a place that I have everything that I need for me. And if you want me to work, fine, but you have to make it really easy. Just organize everything. And I need grass, and I need little waterfalls, and I need just a nice little room, and I need to be looked after and fed because it had been a death-defying thing that I'd experienced. And this was after my the dental implants had nearly killed me. And then I just released it because I didn't know what else to do, and I packed my bag because that's how upstairs management knows I'm serious. All right, got my bags packed, where am I going? And I didn't know anybody in Mexico City, but except for this one woman who was coming to pick me up, Elizabeth, her name was. And she was going to invite me to her healing center, Crescer, to do a speech. So I hop in the car and off we go, and driving along the Periférico, which is, I don't know if you've ever been to Mexico City, but it's like huge and fast and frightening. And then we reach this wall, and she pushes a button, and the gate opens, and we drive in, and the gate closes, and I'm not in Mexico City anymore. I'm in like friggin' Narnia. It was amazing. This gorgeous property with like scattered little glass yoga rooms and rolling little green pasture and gorgeous waterfalls and a Japanese tea house and a floppy-eared puppy and butterflies. And I'm going, whoa, good on you, God. I would never have imagined. This is like so far beyond anything I could have imagined. And she's showing me around because she's got this it's what, oh God, Crescer. She's got all of these different rooms where people do different modalities and stuff, and this gorgeous restaurant and all of these things. And I'm just admiring all of the things. And then we get to the one room and I walk in and I'm like, oh, what happened in here? I mean, the energy is so dense and intense. What do you do in this room? And she said, oh, that's the basically grief room where people go and get counseling. I said, when was the last time it was cleansed? And she said, well, we had a monk through here a few years ago. We did. I said, look, do you mind if I just like tone it up a bit? She said, no, go for it. So I went in and I did my thing and I cleared the space, and she came in and she went, well, wow, okay, all right. And she took me to the little restaurant that's in Crescer, all handmade, beautiful, organic, wonderful food. And she said, oh, I forgot to tell you, I prayed the prayer, all right, God, come on, we're ready, at 8 o'clock in the morning. And she said to me, the strangest thing happened at 8 o'clock this morning. The woman who was supposed to be working with me just up and left. And so we have a place here if you would like to stay. And if you want, and if you're willing to work with me, I will give you everything that you need. You can eat at the restaurant for free. You can have your own receptionist. You can just use ours. We'd be happy to have you put talks on. We will arrange it all. I was only, pretty much just with a backpack.
Your audio just kind of dropped out a bit. I'm not sure what happened, or if Mercury is messing with us again.
But it raised the vibration of the electronic equipment.
Which is kind of crazy. If you watch the 12-hour stream, oh my, like she does this voice attunement at the end, and the audio got all funky, and as she raised the vibration, that kind of stabilized. So let's do that again.
Am I stable now, or should I?
Yeah, it's I can still. It's a little bit well.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Well, I can still hear you, but you sound like you're all muffled, and I don't know what happened. Mercury is a very bad planet today. Well, if you want to make it through the rest of it, but then I don't know if we want to, because it's really
just got all the things that I needed, and that was wonderful. Just by submitting the invoice and adding what were the 3 words?
This or better.
Or better, exactly. So I stayed there for 6 weeks, had a lovely time, and then I went back to Puerto Vallarta and said, okay. And I housed at a mate's place there, and they came back. So I packed up my bags and I'm standing in the car park, and I said to God, all right, if you want me to stay in Puerto Vallarta, then again, I need the following things. I need a really beautiful place to stay. I need, I've got no money, so you're just going to have to organise that. It's going to have to be for trade. And I all of the things. And so upstairs management said, fine, okay, go into the reception area and ask her for the name of the person. So I went in and said, look, do you know of somebody around here who has accommodation for rental or whatever? 5 minutes later, Starsky drives up. Oh, and my specifications was it has to be in Old Town, like within 5 minutes of where I'm living, because I really like this area. And again, I want luxury because I've had it hard and I want it nice. And so Saskia drives up and she said, "You are in luck, because just this morning, the couple that's supposed to rent a suite at my place, Escondido, they can't come, and so I have this available. And yes, I'll trade because like there's nothing else I can do. I'm not going to be able to pitch it at this." So she takes me back less than 2 minutes drive away to the most gorgeous boutique hotel ever. Into this suite. It's got a 180-degree view of Banderas Bay. Everything. The big bath, fabulous furnishings, outdoor, indoor kitchen. But it's the little details that just touched me so much. Like when I pushed the stereo, out came a CD that said Joy. And I'd asked to be surrounded just like women would be nice. And there was only women in the entirety of Escondido for the whole summer, and we just all bonded. And again, this or better. Just make yourself ready and available. Okay, here I am. Where am I going? Because it's your job to show me where and how, and my job to follow the clues. That's the thing. You don't just sit back like law of attraction. Okay, I've thought about it now. Well, no, that's just annoying. You got to take action. You don't let God do all the work. We're the incarnate members of the team, which means we get to do all of the things that involve being in the body. We make the calls, we pack the bags, we submit the invoice, and we follow the clues. Life is like a gigantic and fabulous Easter egg hunt, where each clue leads you to the next, and you can't just skip clues like the floors that hang. There's no less or more important clue. Well, sometimes there are, but you know what I mean. But each clue has precious things in it. Each Easter egg has important information in it that you want to be able to gather. So that's our job as the incarnate ones. God's job, everything else. Now, we can't do their job. We're not qualified. We're in a body. They can't do our job. They're not qualified. They're not in a body. The more you learn about your place in the team, I think this is my most important work and the work I most enjoy doing. Normally, people are drawn to me when their guides are going, "Look here, can you just please hook us up? Tell her that we're here," because people's guides are, especially now with the light workers that are here for a mission, they're looking for a more intimate, personal relationship. It's not just enough now to go, "Oh, good on you, God, that's lovely." Start giving credit where credit is due. Who is walking with you right now? Who is working through you right now? They want you to know them.
And just to, I just had well, I'll deal with that in a second. Anyway, to parallel a few things that you said, that there's also something with stating to the universe maybe preferences versus expectations, and the energy of an expectation, that's the handcuffs that we're talking about. And you said something really profound too, and hopefully you guys could hear it, because I know the audio is breaking up a bit, and I wonder, are there entities out there that don't want you to hear what you just said, that are messing with the equipment? Just curious.
Well, that would be unusual.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be unusual, and it's starting to get better there. So maybe we just need to clear some entities out. And we have to remember to do that before the stream. Everybody who's going to listen to this, let's just put a bubble of light around them and not let the entities foobar them, and try to not let them hear a mess. Oh, look at that. She's coming back. As soon as we start dealing with entities, Joy starts coming back. Anyway, but remembering that your role and your job and being able to let everybody do their part in the play, and then the story unfolds just in the most magical of ways.
Yes, exactly.
And your audio's back. Look at that. This is so awesome. See, right there is another little example of little magical miracle moments. So pot and pock those entities.
Yes. It's and using the violet flame is good for clearing entities as well.
Oh.
Do you know about the violet flame?
From Saint Germain's, the I Am Discourse.
Yeah.
Which is a really good set of books if people want to dive into it. There's a lot of material there, but it is definitely worthwhile study. There's so much good stuff in it, but it will take you a little bit of time to get through it, but it's definitely worth the effort.
Or just ask Saint Germain, hey, give us a wee tutorial. Really, it's just so simple that the violet flame is a gorgeous tool. That it's also known as the ray of transmutation, and literally burns away anything that is not pure source energy. So just ignite the violet flame within you and observe what happens.
Okay. I'm armed now. Not literally. I got my mesa now, so let's see what these entities will suck them up or whatnot. But do you guys have any questions or comments about things? Mike, you were working with entities, Mike. I'm not sure what you are referring to there. Oh, 5911. That is a great little access tool for people. If you have this is the Mercury retrograde how to deal with technology bonus. Every single number has like this energy to it, and an accessors they have things from like 1 through the 20s or whatnot, but there's a combination 5, 9, and 11 that's really good for technology things. So it's like 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 11 11, but you're like building up this energy, and then with each number you're like releasing that's impact. And 5 9 11 is really good for techies and for technology issues, so we can just do a few 5 9 11s. Oh, and Mike was saying he was doing the violet flame for Saint Germain. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate your contribution.
I'm going to write that 5 9 11. Do I have to have done access consciousness, which I haven't, in order to use that tool?
No,
because I'm always, my thing is more joy, less stress, and 3 minutes or less. So I am always gathering tools. This is my passion. I highly recommend it as a hobby.
Yeah, and the way that the whole thing came about, like people would used to come up to Gary and like want to get like, they would be like people asking for handouts, and they would want change. And so he's like, well, here you go. And I forget if it was a 3 or a 5. He's like 1 2 3 3 or 1 2 3 4 5. And like the person just got jolted with this energy of change, and they started to realize that numbers had like this potency. If you look at numerology, there's like different things for each of the numbers. So they've kind of figured out what numbers do different things to create possibilities in your life. But you don't have to take the class. As long as you know how to use it or when to use it, you can tap into that collective consciousness that knows about it and use it anyway.
5 9 11. Right, I definitely need that. Thanks. Good on you, Mike.
5 9 11. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That way we can fight the tech gremlins, right? Hello, Shirley.
And you're right. There are entities out there that do not want you to evolve into the next greatest version of yourself.
Yeah, and sometimes that is an aspect of you that doesn't want to go because it's like an element of ego. Ego is edging God out. And when we have fear, I've talked about this on a lot of streams, and we're kids, especially if you are a firstborn, parents are so protective. Not every parent, but a lot of parents are so protective of the children that every time that the child is excited exploring the world, what do they get? The parents, right? And they start to misidentify excitement with fear. And so I have an acronym for fear. It's feeling excited and ready. And sometimes the entities that we experience that are holding us back is really our own projection of our own ego and our own fear, saying, whoa, 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 don't do that. We don't know the outcome. Come back over here. Choose the same thing again where we know it's safe and you survived it. Because we're all about, as a being, you're looking for possibilities, and the possibility is in the space of unknown, right? And the ego looks at that, and the ego's like, whoa, I don't want to handle that. I'm out. Like, let's pick this. Go back to the abusive relationship. Go back to the job that you hate. At least we know you survived it. And so that's the job of the ego. And sometimes that can manifest as a perceived entity. And it's really just an aspect of you that says, don't do it.
Yes, yes. And even if it is, I have people saying, oh, there's so much darkness. How can anything possibly ever win, that we're doing? Think about this. All of the darkness in the world can't extinguish even one tiny candle flame. It just makes it visible. There's the great gift of duality. Darkness enables us to experience ourselves as light. If you hold a candle flame up to the sun, you can't see it. You can only see it in the dark. It's and if you walk into a dark room, what do? We don't freak out or put on magic special clothing or anything. We just turn the light on, and what happens to the dark? It goes away. It really is as simple as that. To banish darkness, just bring light. And that's light within, which is what we talked about earlier, with going to that aspect of yourself that's locked in fear. It's saying, I can't do that. And just bring them light by showing them and reminding them, actually, we are exceptionally well looked after, and we have already established that as long as we break things down into small enough bits and bites, we can do things we didn't think we could.
Yep, truly anything is possible. The only thing that makes something impossible is a point of view that it's not. If you could
Yes.
really step into the possibility of, and that's why that tool, what else is possible, is so profound. You just say, what else is possible, and the universe will open up a door. It might not be the door you thought, but there's going to be a possibility. And that's where I like to add the words with ease. Like you say, this or better. I always like to, I'm with the access tool, what energy could my body, being and beyond be to create fill in the blank in my life with total ease, with total
Nice.
and then you let that energy come up. That's the energy to step into. Step part two is, where do I have energies that block me from choosing that? And you bring up the second energy. And then using the violet flame, pot and pock from access, Reiki tools, whatever tools you want, you take the energy that stops you from stepping into the energy of possibility and you transmute it. And when you combine those two things, because it's part A, where am I going? Part B, what stops me? And you deal with both at the same time. And that's when you get into the slingshot and go, poof, off you go into the possibility, into the stratosphere, into the next dimension.
Yes. What else is possible? Bring it. And I like to add, what else is possible in perfect alignment with my highest self? Because there's a lot of other things that are possible. And so I like to get really specific in my possibilities.
Absolutely. And well, we could go off on a whole bunch of tangents. That could be a whole bunch of separate talks.
Running out
And
of
Kimberly,
time.
now I just remembered that I forgot that I knew you from Santosha. That's so awesome. Thank you for tuning in. And I assume you were talking about the fear or the fear acronym. I'm not sure which one which tool you're using, or 5911. Just all the tools are so interesting. And when you start using them and you find that they work in your life, that's when you take out that miracle book and you write it down. And then in the times where you think you can't, you read that and you go, wow, I'm a badass.
Ah,
you
yes.
know, we call those like there's like a thing with being on TV and things where you get afraid about being on. You already have all your badass moments written down, and in the moments that you feel you can't, you look back on all the times that you could, and you look at all the times that you had those miracles and the magic come to life, and all those little miracles that can't be explained. The ego will try to explain them, though. It will be like, oh, that was just coincidence, but you know better. That access and a lot of the things are empowering people to know that you know that you know. And once you
Mm,
really settle into that, the ego doesn't have a chance. And the ego is important. We don't eliminate it, but we want it to be in its place where it's not controlling what we're choosing. It's going to give us some safeguards to keep us safe, but we don't have to. We can choose outside of that. And yeah, Kimberly was saying it was the fear acronym. I love that. There's so many acronyms for
that
fear.
fear acronym was awesome. I have
Yeah.
not heard that. Good on you, mate. Thanks. I love it. I'm stealing it.
Yeah, I got it from Neil Donald Walsh. Had this Conversations with God TV show. It's available on Amazon Prime, and it was one of the things he said to the people that he was kind of coaching for getting every available. Oh, sorry, uh, uh, feeling excited and ready, and that was such a perfect fit with the concept from Access about beginning imprinted and misidentifying fear and excitement. It's like such a great combination.
Yes,
So cool.
yes.
So
Yeah,
guys,
fear is just excitement tuned up a bit far. I've noticed that we actually, if you have a look inside yourself right now, you might notice that there's a wee dial, an excitement dial. And if you're in fear, just take a second right now, close your eyes or not, whatever makes you comfortable. See, ooh, do I have a dial like that? Where's it located? And go there to that wee dial and just see where it is. And if you're feeling a bit fearful right now, well, you just turn it down to excitement, or you can even turn it down a bit further to peace or whatever. There's all kinds of fabulous settings on this wee magic dial. And so that's what I like to do when I'm feeling a bit it really is astonishingly effective.
I use the same kind of analogy when we talk about mediumship and talking to entities and tapping into different fields of energy, that our whole body is like the sensory apparatus. And it's just learning how to adjust the antenna to pick up these different frequencies and these different fields of energy and knowledge and all that. And when someone has a friend that just passes, it's like they're still there. The communication is there. You just have to tune your dial a little bit. Instead of banning 1041 AM, now you need to tap into infrared or broadband, or so just a different frequency, but it's all there. It's just a matter of fine tuning and learning how to move along that spectrum and those different fields of energy. She was saying,
Yeah.
I love Neil Donald Walsh. She did another show about him and his books, good stuff. Yes, we are going to do a lot more about Neil Donald Walsh. At least I am. I have a couple little things planned for Neil Donald Walsh, but I have to switch studios to show you.
No.
But
Yeah,
for
my
Joy, though,
favorite book in all the world is The Little Soul in the Sun. It is the best book ever written on forgiveness. And I read it. I read it at my mum's funeral. I read it to all kinds. I read it in all my Your Next Grandest Self workshops. I've even read it to children. But
well,
if
it is
you,
a children's book.
I
It's
know, but it's just as applicable to adults.
oh, in fact,
Actually, if
sometimes
you
more
want,
so.
if you haven't heard of that book and you want it, I've actually read it. Send me a wee comment, and I'll send you the YouTube video where I'm reading it, and you'll see the pictures. Oh, the illustrations are gorgeous, aren't they, Hank? Have you seen it?
They are. I that book I've only read a couple times. The book that I really liked was his Christmas book called Santa's God, and I do a CWG meetup every year where I read that book, and my kids, it's still their favorite book. And I won't want to give away anything, but all his books, especially the children's books, just bring it down into the most simplest terms, and then it's like you read it and it's just like, man, everything just clicks, and it's like, why didn't I think of that before? And it's just like, it's one of those moments where it resonates so deep that you know that you know that you know, and you can't unknow what you know.
Yeah, yeah. I have not read that book, so I'm making a note to you. Got to send me that title. Because I've got his other books, but The Little Soul in the Sun helped me to forgive unforgivable things.
It's really good. um, while we're talking about, let me switch studios so I can just show the two things that I have coming up. Oh no, look at how busy that background is. Let me get rid of that. So for those of you who are interested, I haven't picked the days, but you tell me when you want it. But I have from Neil's work, we have the 5 attitudes of godliness, which I have planned to do a stream on. And I also have the 10 illusions of duality, which is they're both based on kind of one of them is based on his original work, and the other one is based on one book that he wrote called Communion with God, which is basically, and don't get hung up on the word God, use source, life, universe, whatever word works for you, but basically saying, going over how humanity unfolded, how we had to make up one thing to explain an illusion, but it's all built so we can have this space of a contextual field, but it's like how it all works, and teaching how to use the illusions for the purpose where they're intended, where it's not to dismantle the illusion, but to be able to be within it and use it in order to experience oneself with the greatest scope of experiential context, I guess would be the best way to say it.
Mhm.
Yep. Oh, and she
I'm
hasn't read
excited.
Sam's
I'm
comment.
signing
Oh,
up for those. I love Neil Donald Walsh.
I'll have to let you know when I'm doing it. It might
Yes.
be before you wake up, though. We'll see. And then the other cool thing, as long as we're talking about books, Access Consciousness just gave us permission to do book readings. We can read up to 30% of the book. So I'm open to suggestions. What do you guys want to hear first? We can do Being You, Changing the World. We could do The Joy of Business, which is all about business, but it's really relevant for abundance, even if you're not in business for yourself. There is Money's Not the Problem, You Are, which I think the title speaks for itself. And then Pragmatic Psychology. So there's 4 Access books that I can dive into, and like, I'm not allowed to facilitate or discuss the books. It's not intended for that, but it's just intended as a book reading. And then there's other things we can do after that for people who are interested. But it's such a great body of work, especially Dr. Dane's work. It's really changed my life. Next to Neil, it's like my next favorite book is the Being You, Changing the World. So anyway, we're coming up on the hour. So guys, well, I mean, because it doesn't matter, we can always go over an hour. I try to keep them to an hour so I can upload them to Instagram, but I can trim it out. But is there any questions that you guys have? Questions, comments? Was this helpful? Would you like to see more things like this? Or if you've seen Joy on the 12-hour stream, do you want other things around some of her other topics? That's what the stream is that we've been referring to. If you didn't catch this, it's on the Emergence of Being YouTube channel. It is literally 12 hours and 16 minutes long. I was crazy for doing a stream for that long and not. Anyway, next time I'll
You're
do
a
8 hours.
legend, mate.
8 hours would be so much more palatable. But there is all kinds of talks from people who I look at as spiritual leaders and things. Some of my teachers, like Elaine Thomas, is my mediumship teacher. Mark Thomas is where I got a lot of my meditation skills. Tom Cratsey for healing. Tim Brainerd, who is like a local, kind of a local legend in his own right for his amazing charismatic speeches and talks. So it's all in all great stream. So I highly recommend check that out if you haven't already. But no one's commenting, so maybe everybody's good or they're cooked. Maybe they're cooked because of turning up the energies.
Yeah, I'm happy to, if you're interested in, I mean, I'm a specialist in reprogramming the brain, because I was hit by a drunk driver at 24 and doctors said I'd be dead or brain dead by 30. And I had to learn how to reprogram the neurological pathways of my brain to bypass the injuries. So that's how I became what I am. So now I teach how to reprogram the brain for optimal levels of productivity and joy. That was the same reason that I became an expert on clearing stress in 3 minutes or less. I teach how to experience joy regardless of circumstance. I teach face reading and time bending and all of these crazy, fabulous things that I learned because after the doctors gave up on me, I took up holistic medicine. I'm certified in more than a dozen different healing modalities. And as I journeyed through all of these modalities, I uncovered these crazy cool tools and skills that I would have given my eye teeth for as an executive, and they were all squirreled away in these esoteric places where nobody, unless they had enormous amounts of money and at least a decade, could ever find them. And I was in that position. So to make everything that happened to me make sense, I just nicked all the best ones, and that's what I travel the world teaching. So yeah, have a look at my website, experiencejoy.com, and see what tickles your fancy, and let's play.
Yep, and Joy will be back. We resonate, and we're going to create a lot more content, and hopefully get her some better audio eventually. Well, I don't know if it's probably not the audio. It's just weird things happening with the energy. Let me grab one other link since we were talking about that event. I want to throw that out there. And for those of you watching on my YouTube channel, I just put up 3 years ago. Talk about serendipitous moments and like things just working out. I had just talked to my friend Casey about, in 2018, I filmed this whole thing. Like we did a sound bath and a crystal skull meditation to the goddess Isis, and we went and filmed in a studio, and we put together this whole TV production, and it's been in editing for all this time, and I don't know if it's ever really going to come out. And literally the next day, I got a message from the girl that was editing it, and she's like, "It's done, here it is." And so I just put it on my YouTube channel. So if you want to check out, it's called Come Home to Your Heart Through Healing. I just put that on my channel, and it is like an hour long, but the first 30 minutes is talking, the last 30 minutes is a sound bath and a meditation. So you can check it out. But anyway, I can't talk and look for this at the same time. Let me find it.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I think I'll definitely want the sound bath. I can do with a nice sound bath.
Yeah, and now I have a better microphone, so next time I can record a sound bath, I'm going to do that. I just got a couple green screens, so I can actually put out like 20 feet of green screen, put all my bowls in it, and make it look like I'm doing a sound bath in space or something. It's going to be fun.
Oh, cool.
Isn't it?
I love that you've got all the fun technology. I'm just in absolute admiration and awe by that.
All right, and I found the link for the New World, New Possibilities. So I'm posting that in the comments.
Thank you.
So if you want to check out the 12-hour stream, there's that. And then, because that's on a different channel, that's why I'm giving you the link. But if you're watching on my channel, The Sonic Shaman, you can just check out the most recent premiere video is the one with the talking and the skull and I can't talk. The crystal skull meditation and sound bath. And Kimberly says she loves her sound baths. Were you there at Santosha when it was like the big winter storm and everybody was telling me, don't drive home. And I tried to drive home anyway. And then I realized that you guys were right. Oh, that was a fun, nerve-wracking drive, but I made it. I stopped at a rest area and ended up sleeping on the side of the road. And it was so windy, the car was like shimmying back and forth. And I'm like, yeah, next time people say you really should stay, I'll stay. But that was one of those things where I'm like, I got to get back so I can do the thing they call go to work, so I can keep the thing they call a job, so I can make the thing they call money instead of just saying, hey, God, provide, right? That's kind of what tonight is about. Submit the invoice. And, oh, that reminds me of the other thing that I was going to say when you said you have to do your part. I give the analogy of a rowboat. And it's like, give your invoice and the universe starts rowing. And if you don't row and you don't do your part following the energy, picking up the clues like Joy was talking about, that rowboat just kind of goes in a circle, right? But when you can work hand in hand with Creator, hand in hand with your higher self, with your guides, with the people without the bodies that are aligning everything to work out in these magical ways, if you start rowing too, you have good, orderly direction. God, I'm an acronym nerd, and you get to where you're going so much faster because you're actually doing your part and working together with the spirit world instead of like separate. So that's a big thing.
Yes.
Awesome.
You're awesome, Hank. I just have to tell you how much. I mean, I know everybody watching this is going to agree with me. Throw up a heart if you agree with me. Hank's a freaking legend. Ooh.
Oh no. Joy came tumbling down. Are you okay, Joy? She's probably gonna fix her computer here. So if you on that note, since she was praising me, let me remind you she has the praise challenge on her Facebook group. And I already put the comment or the link in the comments. And there's no cost to join the group, there's no fee or anything like that. All it takes is your time and your willingness to be the catalyst to change for somebody else's life by giving them praise, by giving them, by authentically saying what you appreciate about them and what they do for you and all that good stuff. So you can find that at facebook.com/groups/2p.r.a.i.s.e.u. And I don't know if Joy's going to come back or not. Now she's gone. We'll give her 2 minutes to come back and say goodbye. And if she's not back, then we'll just call it a night because we were kind of wrapping up anyway. You guys have any questions, comments, anything else that you'd like to see? She's saying, "You're both awesome. I love Joy's story. She's an inspiration. You'll love her the thing from the 12-hour stream too." That's why as soon as we were in this class called the Be on TV Boot Camp, and if you go to my OneTree link, which I forget what it is now, I usually post it, but I didn't. Anyway, let me get that because I don't remember the link tree is what it is. I totally get why people on Instagram use that now because it's like one link to rule them all, right? So let me grab my Sonic Shaman one, admin, because I got all the links when I stream. I put all the links here. So it has the praise challenge, it has the Be on TV bootcamp link and everything. But that's how I met Joy. We were in this, it's Be on TV bootcamp. And it's like by the end of this 7-day boot camp, you could be on TV. If you follow everything that they tell you, you could totally be on television with all the things that they recommend. But just for the connections alone, like I met Joy, I met 2 of the other people that I did the live streaming with. Dr. K was in it with me, and she met a whole bunch of people. We've had the lymph doctor on our show, all from these connections. And I haven't even done a pitch for television yet or anything, but I got a couple radio gigs coming up, which I'm excited to announce once they're actually recorded or whatnot. But here we go. This is the link tree, and there you can find the link if you're interested in stepping into your unique voice in this world and you want to be on TV and all that. Can't recommend the boot camp enough, and it's like $55 for the 5 days, so you can't go wrong. Oh, let's see. Joy was saying, "I guess we're done. If anyone knows where my next place in West LA is, please let me know." So if any of you have leads on Joy's next place of residence, if you're watching from California or you know somebody that can facilitate a possibility, please let her know. And now won't let me post that. So let me put it here in the banner. So anytime you need a link from a show, if it's my show, it's going here. If it's an emergence of being, I got the domain eob.center, and it forwards you to the link tree for emergence of being. And I put the things for the guests and all that in there, so you can always find links from the broadcast in convenient places. Unless it's like a really old broadcast, then of course you're not going to find it. But even on this one, it has the links to all the different presenters that I had for the 12-hour stream. You can find links to all the presenters there. So I still have all that. Kimberly was just saying, everything happens for a reason, divine timing. Absolutely. But in conclusion, if it feels fun for the TV on Bootcamp thing, it's $55. And the connections alone, if you want to be on podcasts or live streams, I have enough people where I could probably have a different guest on every day for a year. I just have to get busy scheduling people. There is that much potency and possibility in the group. And if you watch the 12-hour stream, you'll see what I mean. Like the people that I connected with from there are rock stars, including Joy. That's how I met her. So with that, now I'm just talking by myself. But let me know what you guys want to see. I will be on tomorrow, probably doing a Coffee Connect at 9:15ish. I haven't chosen what I'm going to do, but I will be streaming that. And then Dr. K and I are at 10 o'clock when we're going to be doing the most important relationship you have is you. So let me throw that visual up real quick so you can see self-care, self-love. Here we go. So tomorrow you can look forward to this. Dr. K and I will be talking self-care, self-love. Your number one relationship is you. And being self-first is not being selfish. They're 2 very different energies. We're going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow. So hopefully you can tune in for that. And if not, you'll always have the replay. And Joy was just offering, be on TV. Boot camp is epic. It is, even if you don't want to be on TV. Because I didn't know why Spirit told me to do it, because I had no interest really in being on like news or things like that. And then I joined the group and I was like, oh my God, this is like the most amazing momentum I've ever had with business and stuff like that. So I actually just revamped my entire website. If you go to hanksettle.com, I still have to get some new videos up, but everything is redone with like coaching programs and all kinds of fun stuff that I'm rolling out. It's like a soft launch. I haven't like emailed everybody saying, hey, take a look at the new site, but I'm just finishing putting some additional content on there. But anyway, Joy, thank you so much for being here with me. Sorry that you had that tumble at the end, whatever occurred. But we will be back with other episodes of magical moments, whether through moving or miracles, and happy to give you guys more content around that. All right. Thank you so much for being here. If you got value out of these videos, please share. You can be a contribution to the work that I'm doing, to the work that Joy is doing, by spreading the contagion of consciousness through sharing these videos and subscribing. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.